So, yesterday I did a video on the passing of Boston Lloyd. Now, Boston was 29, um, had a heart attack in his kitchen post workout. Now, a lot of people who know who Boston Lloyd is or who have looked who he is to get some context, you could be forgiven for coming away from that and thinking, well, yeah, but that's an extreme example. That's a guy like on a scale of 1 to 10 of abuse who was probably 12. Um, Fair comment. I couldn't really say much back to you, other than chronic high blood pressure should absolutely be addressed. Kidney health shouldn't be neglected. General health shouldn't be neglected. It really shouldn't, not at any cost. Well, certainly not at the cost of ignorance. Anyway, ignorance isn't always bliss. But you could be forgiven for thinking, well, that's Boston. This is me. I probably couldn't even afford to do what he used to do. Okay, fair enough. Scrolling through YouTube this morning, and I didn't even click on it first. I really didn't. It was R.I.P. Scott Murray, and indeed, R.I.P. Scott Murray. Wow, it's mind blown. And I realised this boy's 25. He's younger. He had a growing YouTube channel, but years ago, we used to speak back and forth on Instagram. I used to be more active on there and more entrenched in my lifestyle. And he reached out to me a couple of times. I viewed him back then as somebody who I don't like using the label anorexia, but he seemed to have a very troubled relationship with eating and energy expenditure. I was quite neurotic about it and reached out to me for advice about what to do, methods of combating it. And one of mine would be try and train with strength in mind rather than primarily body composition. Sure, still keep a lean body composition because being overweight doesn't do you any favours either. But being severely underweight or trying to stay like 5% body fat year round, I believe I've had a little quick look back, but I kind of distanced myself from Scott a few years ago. Not in any kind of way of a fallout. He didn't really seem to want to take on board what I was saying and my concerns for how he was going about his life. You have to let people do the thing sometimes. Who am I to say? I would never have predicted this. I'd never think I'd be making this video about this boy, but we used to speak at length. Scott Murray, you can go on. He's got a YouTube channel, several videos out. I loved his enthusiasm. He just wanted to help people and put a positive message out, and kind of play the clown. And he's had a heart attack and died at 25. And I don't know. We discussed anabolics. We touched upon them. He said he was natural. I have no reason to disbelieve him. This is a few years ago. You could make your own conclusions looking at him, but not a conversation we've had, and not a conversation I'd probably reveal if we had if it said not to. Anyway, besides the point. But if he was using, then he wasn't using 13 grams of gear a week like Boston Lloyd was. He wasn't using silly amounts. He was using little recreational doses, if he was. Ones which you wouldn't consider harmful. So it's not just as simple as, well, mass amounts of substance kill people. In himself, he seemed to carry a heavy heart. His last video, his body language, his mannerisms, everything, he carried a heavy heart and a lot of stress and seemed to be fighting demons on the low. His energy and enthusiasm was abundant right up to the end, and having seen a couple of his videos, and had a little reminisce to myself when I realised that he was gone. 25, heart attack. Probably untold psychological stress, but the physiological stress led him there. And I'm unsure of his medical history. This isn't a one size fits all kind of judgment. It's still shock, really, but without sounding like a broken record, I'm doing it with good reason. Within 2 days, I've made videos on a guy at 29 and a guy at 25 who I wouldn't say the term friend gets blurred, but in terms of social media and speaking to, we were pretty good friends at one point. We spoke a lot of days for a couple of months, and from afar, I admired his content and vice versa for a while. Lovely lad, absolutely lovely, meant nobody any harm, and just wanted to help people. Tragic. Rest in peace, Scott. All goes out to your family, your friends, and all the people who quite rightly loved your content. And yeah, look after yourselves, people. You only get one life. You only get one shot, and I think one of the videos, I think he'd not had arrested in about a number of years anyway, something crazy like that. This lifestyle, I say this lifestyle, I don't live this lifestyle anymore. I distanced myself from that scene years ago with good reason. So no, don't. It's just not worth it. It really is not worth it unless you're in the top 1 to 2%. You won't have to put your body through things like that in order to be really successful. And that's going to come down to genetics, really. That's decided before you're born. Just have a think. Lead a balanced life. Don't try and maintain stupidly low body fat year round. Don't push mad doses. Don't think in any which way when you see pros talk about this, that and the other, and say a load of shit anyway, because none of them will tell you what we're actually doing, much less the preventative health steps are taken towards fixing the damage that we're doing. And not a lot of people are open about that, so you've got to take that entire community for what it is, which, although there are outliers, like Boston for example, who was very, very transparent about what he did. Not everyone's going to tell you that, and sometimes by the time you find out for yourself, it's too late. Luckily, I found out in time, and I've seen enough. I've been around the community enough to see what happens, and that's, I made the decision myself to step back. I've lost, I think it was 86.5 kilos lean. My biggest, I'm about 75 now, 76 now, which is humbling. I look back on videos I've recorded before, and it's like I've got a hot water bottle shoved in the back of my t-shirt. It's humbling, but I want to be around for when my little girl grows up. I want to enjoy life. It's a gift. It really is. The odds on you even being born are astronomical. Go and look it up, please. Don't waste it chasing a look or a trophy, or, well, I don't know. Who am I to tell you what to do? You do what you want to do. Just make sure that the cost that you may pay is one that you're willing to pay. And I don't think giving up your life for anything, bar, I don't know, letting your child live maybe in some kind of awful paradox, your life isn't worth it.